Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, product designer in growth here at GitLab. This is a UX scorecard on signing up for GitLab. If you're not familiar with the UX scorecard process, basically it's a heuristic evaluation of an experience. To do this, we first start by identifying the job to be done, so who's the user and what is their desired outcome. We then map the user's journey, so what's the current process to get to the desired outcome. And we finish by grading the experience using a grading model and specific UX heuristics. So for this scorecard on signing up for GitLab, I am going to be focusing on two main personas, so the development team lead and the software developer. Both of these personas are going to try to accomplish the following job to be done, which is when evaluating GitLab, I want to get started with minimal effort so I can assess if it will fit my team's needs. I chose to focus on three key flows. The first one being signing up and creating a project, the second one signing up and importing a project, and the third one signing up using single sign-on. So this is third parties like Google, GitHub, and Bitbucket. I also chose to exclude three flows, which are signing up after receiving an invitation to join GitLab. The invited user experience is something different and should be treated separately than an initial setup. This is why it's excluded. Same thing for signing up and purchasing GitLab and signing up and installing GitLab. So let's start with signing up and creating a project. So for that, I'm going to go straight into the mural of the experience. So this is signing up and creating a project. We're going to start on the GitLab website. So I like how clean the website is. At the same time, it's also like the copy is quite dense and a bit jargony. As a development team lead of software developer, it's not always speaking directly to me, I feel. I feel it's more tailored to a buyer persona rather than a user persona. I just wish it would be a bit more mixed because I think both have value. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna click on try GitLab for free, which is then redirecting me to this page. Try GitLab Ultimate for free for 30 days. With the free trial, it includes nearly all Ultimate tier features, no credit card required. So this is nice that I don't need a credit card, but stating includes nearly all Ultimate tier features is a bit confusing. I wouldn't have expected that to be here. I would have actually also expected to have a list of the features and what do I have access to and what is the value of all that. And I don't really have this here. So the nearly gets clarified in the FAQ, where I basically learn a bit more on what's included and what is not included. But still, if I really want to know everything, I have to click here, which is then sending me to our pricing page. I would have expected this page to kind of pitch me the value of the product and of the trial, and this is not the case here. So that's a bit disappointing. At this point, I might not be super convinced. I wish I would have been reassured. But anyway, I'm gonna click on continue with SaaS, which is then leading me on this page form, where I have to fill some basic information. I also have the choice to create an account using Google and GitHub. This is something that we're gonna see later, but that's pretty nice. So anyway, I'll just fill my information. Yeah, sometimes this form has different way of throwing errors. So for example, at times it's gonna be tied to the field. But sometimes it's just being put on top of the form, which is a bit confusing. It's nice to have an error, for sure, this is important, But I just wish that everything would be consistent and every error would be tied to their own field. So in this case, email is being added on top instead of being directly tied here to the field. So anyway, I'm fixing my information and clicking on continue. And then I'm being landed on this page, which is called almost there. I have to check my email and confirm. This is pretty standard. So I'm just doing that, going to my email, receive the email from GitLab. In this email, there's a confirmation link. So I'm clicking that. Then I'm being redirected again. Then I'm landing on this page, which seems to be a sign-in page. It's nice that my email was automatically pre-filled, but I just wish that clicking the link in the email, I would have been straight into the product, like authenticated, and that I didn't have to like go through the step again of filling information and adding my password again. So yeah, this step feels like it could be eliminated. So anyway, I'm just gonna click on sign in, which is then redirecting me to this page, which is kind of welcoming me to GitLab using my name. This is pretty nice. Then I have to fill my role, and I'm being told that this is gonna help GitLab personalizing my experience, which is really cool. So yeah, just filling this, choosing between like my company or team using the trial or just me. Like I'm at this point, I'm really expecting to have like a personalized path, which is nice. So I'm going to click on continue, and then I land on this page, which is again a form to start my ultimate trial. So I have to fill the same information, so first name, last name. I mean, they're being pre-filled for me, which is nice. But then, yeah, it really feels like a lot of information. There are a lot of fields here. I have to give information about my company, the number of employees, and the telephone number. I don't know if I have to input my company phone number or my personal phone number. Either way, I'm not too keen on doing that. I don't know why we're asking this here. Yeah, as a user, it's really like, yeah, I don't want to give you so much information to just try out a product that I'm not even sure if I will use it in the end, like at this stage. So yeah, this is a bit of a barrier. But anyway, also what I'm seeing is that I have no way to skip this form, and I have no way to move forward. And all of these steps are required, meaning that let's say I fill everything except the telephone number. If I press continue, I cannot move on. I'm gonna have to like give my phone number away, which is frustrating. So anyway, I just click on continue. And then I'm being prompted to create a group. So I'm being told that a group is my organization in GitLab, and it allows me to manage users and collaborate across multiple projects. It's just kind of nice, but at this point, I have no idea what's a project. So yeah, let's say as a development team lead, I kind of have this idea of like, I'm going to create a group for my team, and then all of the projects that we work in are going to be housed in there. It seems to be this. But then it kind of seems like it's just, organizational perspective, and it's not going to bring much value into doing that about kind of tidying up things. So yeah, I just wish it would be clear, like what's the value of a group, because right now I don't even know that, and I have no other choice than creating one, because again, I cannot move forward without doing that. So yeah, and I'm just gonna like fill my group name, which is gonna generate a group URL. I don't know why. It's a bit confusing to me to have this here now, because as long as I presume that as long as I don't click on create group, this URL is never going to exist, right? So why do I have it here? I don't know. Visibility level, I can choose between private and public, which is nice. And then I have the option to invite people, but it's optional, so this is really nice. And then if I click on create group, I land on create or import your first project page, and I also see that my free trial is activated. That's cool. So now I'm being told that a project is where files and issues and wiki and more are housed. And this is going to lead into my group, so yeah. Okay. Then I can choose my project name. Again, same thing with the project URL. Why do I have this here? I'm not so sure. And the visibility level, private. So this is being imported from my setup from the project, from the group, sorry, before. So if I choose private here, I'll get private there. Fair enough, but I don't understand why this is a radio button, because it's gonna imply that there is another choice at this point, when in fact there is not. So I just wish this would be a piece of copy instead of being a radio button. This would kind of, yeah, be a bit simpler. So anyway, I'm going to click on the create project, and then I'm being redirected to this page, which is gets out of GitLab. Apparently, I am going to be landing on a sandbox project to learn the basics, and then guided with issues on the issue board. So that sounds pretty cool. So I'm clicking on okay, let's go. And then and then I'm redirected on this project called Learn GitLab. On the issue board. So this is nice. I like the idea of using GitLab to learn GitLab. And then each issue containing instruction. But there's a lot. So I don't know, I think it's 12 issues. That is a lot. I just wish it would be a bit more, maybe obvious, the first thing that I have to do. Because right now I presume I'm free to pick any of these, which is nice, but yeah, it's a lot to choose from, basically. So I just wish the choice would be easier at this point. I'm kind of left on my own to define what's best, which can be good, but it can also be a bit overwhelming. So yeah, overall, using the heuristic, this experience grade as a C-. It's leaning below average. The good thing is that call to actions are clear and path forward is pretty clear. There is a dedicated onboarding board, which is good, although, like I said, can be a bit overwhelming. And then in terms of potential improvement, I think we can definitely clarify the value proposition on top of the funnel. The trial and product value are not clear. I just wish I would be a bit more sure about what's waiting for me. I think we can simplify. We should definitely reassess the number of steps and the amount of information we collect up front. It's a lot. It's really a lot. And then in terms of transparency, maybe communicate better the group value. In case as an insider, I know that we are asking users to create a group when they start a trial, because this is what we need to activate the trial. If you don't create a group, there's no way that we can activate your trial, because we need to attach your trial to a specific group. So instead of just showing this create your first group step, just maybe reword it to be more transparent and just say that we need that to activate the trial. I think it would be much better. Then in terms of control and freedom, it would be nice for people to be able to undo or move between steps, because if you inputted something wrong, then there's no way for you to fix it. So this is not good. And we could also improve the flexibility and efficiency of use. So yeah, if we consider someone that wants to join an existing project or group, so not being invited, but just on their own, kind of signing up to join their teammates, that must be super frustrating for you to have to create a group, create a project when you actually want to join one. So we could definitely do better in that regard. Signing up and importing a project. So I'm going to start from the steps that we saw earlier, which is create and import first project. So I just to click on the import part, and I have this whole list of third parties to import from. This is pretty nice, although I don't really understand why I have GitLab export and GitLab.com, because if I'm signing up for GitLab, it's probably because I don't have an account yet. So why would I import things? Maybe this could be kind of removed. But then for the rest, it's nice to have options, I think, here. So in this case, I am going to choose GitHub. So I clicked on GitHub, which is then, I guess, logging me in GitLab. I don't know, because like things are changing here a bit. So yeah, then I'm being asked to authenticate with GitHub to connect my GitHub repository. So I'm going to click on authenticate with GitHub, which is then sending me to GitHub, where I have to authorize GitLab. So I'm going to click on authorize GitLab. Then I have to confirm this using my GitHub password. Once this is done, I'm being redirected, and then I land back in GitLab with the repository from GitHub that I have. And then I can choose to import this one. So if I click on import, I'm being prompted by a model saying, "I sure want to import?" Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just wish I wouldn't have that here. To me, this sounds like an extra step that is not needed. So I'm not sure why we're using a model here. This could be simplified. So anyway, I click on import, and then my project is importing. I can see the status here and there. This is kind of nice, but at the same time, I'm just waiting. So I just wish there was something that would kind of, entertain me in a way. It's just not staring at the spinner. And this didn't take, I don't know, like from 5 to, I don't know, maybe from 1 to 5 minutes. Sorry. So once this is done, I have the status being complete. That's nice to see. And then I can go to my project. But the thing is, I am being kicked out of the onboarding experience. So I don't get to access the onboarding board. So yeah, I'm kind of left on my own to figure things out. So I wish I would have been able to access that onboarding experience at this point. And also, one thing to know is that if I have several projects here, this is going to populate multiple rows with the same import button. And it seems like I cannot select all of them and import. If I wanted to import 5 projects, I have to click on import and confirm 5 times. That sounds like a lot. So this is why this experience is graded as a D+. It's nice to have multiple import options, but then in terms of flexibility and efficiency, it's really lacking in significant ways. There's so much back and forth between the apps. I think the import project is at least 9 to 10 steps. This is way too much. I'm being kicked out of the onboarding experience, which is not nice. And the import interaction is tedious. So we can do so much better on that. And now let's move on to signing up with SSO. So I'm going back to this page that we saw earlier, so that after you go through the marketing website. So here I'm going to click on create an account using Google, at which point I am prompted to choose an account to connect. So yeah, this is pretty standard. And then I'm having this prompt about terms and privacy policy. I I think from a legal standpoint, this is important. I also kind of like that it kind of feels honest that I have this here. But at the same time, I'm wondering, does this have to be a step on its own? If I'm going back here, this is treated as copy, and we're just assuming that if you click on continue, then you are accepting the policy. So maybe having something similar here or around here, there, I don't know. But I don't think this needs to be an extra step. Anyway, once I click on accept the terms, I directly land on this form that we saw earlier. So that means I am skipping the whole email confirmation process that we saw earlier. And so I'm gonna go back on it to be clear. So yeah, this whole process of almost there, going to my inbox, being redirected, signing in, and giving information about myself here is skipped. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty streamlined. And then the rest of the experience is the exact same as what we saw. So overall, this experience grade as a C. Yeah, using SSO is definitely streamlining the flow, which is nice, but then I just wish that we would have kind of used this to kind of suggest things for me. So say I authenticate using GitHub, I would have liked to see something like, hey, do you want to import your repositories from GitHub? Something that would take into consideration my input. Yeah, that would be nice. So yeah, summary. So signing up for GitLab and creating a project is a C-. Importing a project is a D+, and using SSO is a C. Now, to balance all that, we also did unmoderated user testing on these flows. We had overall 10 participants, and we asked them to grade this flow on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 being very difficult, 5 being very easy. So 5 out of 10 people mentioned that signing up for GitLab was very easy, and 5 other rated the flow as a 4, so easy. I'm saying this to kind of contrast what I just said before, is like overall from a real user perspective, although not all of them were software developer or development team lead, it's still a somewhat easy process. Now, the reason why I tend to grade those experiences maybe lower than expected is because I believe that signing up, any sign-up flow is absolutely critical for the product and for our business, and we should absolutely aim to be a B and never grade below B. So yeah, I really want to try to push for a better experience here. So yeah, to conclude, I think what we can say is that the signing up for GitLab is pretty long. It has 20 required fields, which spread across 13 steps. It takes overall 10 minutes to complete. We can do better. We can definitely do better. Then overall, it's a railway experience, so a kind of lack of flexibility. I feel like I have to adapt to the tool instead of having the tool adapting to my needs. Specifically, that it's mentioned in the flow that is saying, yeah, we're going to personalize your experience. It doesn't feel like that at all. So yeah, I wish it would take that a bit more into consideration and give a bit more flexibility in steps and real personalization. And then overall, we can say that it feels a bit dull. It's not really exciting. Signing up flow should kind of gonna spark a bit of excitement and curiosity. And I think our is not so good. The product value and trial value is not really clear, and I really feel like filling a bunch of um, forms. It's almost like an administrative process when in fact it could be uh, easier than that, and it should be easier than that. So that was it for this scorecard on signing up for GitLab. Thank you for watching.